This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster that's here to remind you to pet your pets, but not, you don't necessarily have to pet them. Certain pets, they say, hey, yeah, get over here. You know what I could use? A few more pets. And I don't know if I talked about this. I probably have recently, but that's a new part of my bedtime routine. In between meditating and foam rolling is petting, or sometimes, to be honest, during meditating, petting Koa, and like just taking some more time to pet her. I mean, I usually do, but you could also, emotionally pet your pets, non-petting pets, just say something sweet to them. Or I don't know if your pets are into like, what is that called? Like, ooh, Google, baby talk. I don't know. Some pets, especially cats, I'm just guessing may not like that. But now you might be thinking, what is this person talking? I thought I was listening to a sleep podcast. Well, I'm so glad you're here. Yep, this is a very different show. Welcome to Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to put you to sleep, but really it's here to keep you company while you fall asleep. It does take some getting used to. But this podcast is here because you deserve a friend in the deep, dark night. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. So I'm so glad you're here. Just give the podcast a few tries. Like I said, that's what most regular listeners say. But what we got coming up here is there'll be some support. That's how we get to put this podcast out twice a week for free. Then there'll be a long, meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. And after that intro will be a bedtime story from our episodically modular series you can listen to in any order, Make Great Pets, about how great it's about pets. It's not about making pets, by the way. But it is about making pets helpful. No, it's not about making pets do anything. Interesting, just like reminding me of the song. And it also reminds me of something you'd say if you worked somewhere. You say, what's our mission? Make great pets. Excuse me, point of inquiry. We don't make pets here. And we don't, we barely can influence pets. So, and they say, okay, we'll give you a reassignment. It sounds like this program's not for you. But, and that may be the case with this podcast, but give it a few tries, see how it goes. I'm so glad you're here. I got lost in the beginning of the show. What do you say? Welcome to Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to put you to sleep. And here is a couple of ways we're able to do it for you for free twice a week. All right, everybody, this is our episodically modular series, Make Great Pets. Welcome. If you never heard an episode of this before, don't worry. It's episodically modular, meaning everything you need to know, I'll either fill you in on, or the characters, you'll be filled in. You could listen to it in any order. And that's what episodically modular means. I mean, and if you're a completist, you could just listen to this episode, then listen to all the other episodes, then listen to this one again. And then that'll be cool because then you'll say, oh, wow. You could just give it a shot like that. Or, if you need to, you could, that's why I keep all the 500 episodes free. So. But it'll be okay. Hopefully you're getting comfortable and resting. It's a really nice tale, and it's about it's called Make Great Pets. Originally, that was our working title, and then I said, well, I think that fits, which happens sometimes with the show, though other times it doesn't. Though I don't have an example. I know with Spice Friends it was called Other Things, but I can't remember. So, Make Great Pets is a tale of Ren, who will explain a lot of stuff, but Ren is, a being, like in a post-earthly existence, former human or current, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know the the term, my vocabulary, whatever stage of existence I'm in, my vocabulary is like one stage behind. So you say Scooter was previously a tortoise. So his vocabulary is also he's immature. So he's the vocabulary of an immature tortoise. And I'd say that's great because I know tortoises and trees and owls are typically portrayed as the wisest of the anthropomorphized beings. So I do have that going for me. But now, so Ren is in a post-earthly existence working with a training program, helping people through their pets. What could be better, right? So this is exciting stuff, really meandering, really good for bedtime. And speaking of wise as an owl or a tree or a tortoise, sometimes I'm not sure which of those would be quietest. A tree, a tree could be creaky, an owl's got feathers and also goes hoo, hoo, hoo. And a tortoise, I would imagine, would have occasional leathery sounds, but for the most part, it's our Hollywood announcer who now I've been seeing. I still haven't seen the movie because it was somehow I don't know if animated movies have a red carpet. And I wasn't really expecting an invite to the red carpet because I would be like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. But so the box office and the reviews are stellar. And I don't know if it was an appearance on MTV's The Challenge that pushed the box office so much, but holy cow. I'm so happy to introduce our Hollywood announcer, Mr. Antonio Banderas. As the friends beyond the binary, as the ladies, as the gentlemen, as the boys and girls. Wisdom comes from so many places. Tonight it comes via make great pets. Meow. Yeah. Thanks. That's Mr. Antonio Banderas. This is Make Great Pets. Well, hey, everybody that's listening. My name is Ren, and if you're hearing this recording, if you're hearing this recording, you're hearing it. But the purposes of this recording, which you may not be listening according to the purposes, but I'm supposed to assume you are. But just in case, either way, I'm supposed to. We're creating. I'm part of a training program, and like a lot of things, it's learning by doing. And so I'm recording my efforts to help human beings on Earth via their pets, which may sound more direct and awesome. It's still great. I'm so grateful to be here and doing this. But we don't have total control over the pets, which if you're part of the training program, hopefully you already know that, but maybe not. But so every night in the pet's subconscious or whatever, I'm able to record these training modules on my day within the pet, trying to help someone. Thus far, most of the time that I can remember, it has been the pet's owner. It has been the pet's human companion, but I don't think that's necessarily true 100% of the time. So what else am I? So you may want a little bit of history. I like to start off with that. It also helps me. This is a program started after the Bezos Penny incident, or Bezos Sears Penny incident. You may not know this. It's just this is my version of the history that I know about. And you probably already know that there's either, it's still beyond my understanding, even though I'm beyond the earthly realm, how Earths work and parallel Earths or whatever, or duplicate Earths. But there was a version of this Earth that we know so well, that had guardian angels, they called them. And that was a program to help humans, being human, not easy. And what set up the Bessos Penny Sears incident was that that program was fairly successful. Well, let's not put an opinion out there. That program was in existence. Then Richard Warren Sears, James Cash Penny, and Jeff Bezos they went into the world. There used to be, you could go to two places apparently after your existence, which, holy cow, no thank you, right? I'd prefer endless, but so there's a place where you didn't do so well and a place where you did great. And, but I guess to our benefit right now, Bezos, Penny, Sears, they eliminated that second option. If you didn't do great, I don't know, there was 8 versions down there or something, but they got rid of all of it, unintentionally apparently, but still. But that left a dearth where they said, well, what are we going to do now? Because we already have this old system in place. Turns out it's an old system, not in place anymore. And they said, well, what if we take the people that would have gone to this place for not great choices, send them back to Earth? And I don't know if they ran that idea by everybody. People, okay, all these people that didn't make great choices or a surplus of poor choices while they're on Earth, let's send them back to Earth to help people make better choices. And that didn't work out. That Earth ended up being not unsustained, it was, luckily there was backup Earths or parallel Earths. Then they went back to the original version with the guardian angels. The Bezos, Penny, and Sears also disrupted that because while a supervisor was on a sabbatical, that didn't work out. This is a longer history lesson than I expected. And Bezos, I guess it was Richard Warren Sears, or was it James Cash Penny? But anyway, they ended up de-existing the entire positive post-existence place. And a lot of the guardian angels and the ones that remained, they weren't doing the best job anyway. Now, don't worry. If you had somebody there was, 3-2-1 rule for backups. This includes, I don't know, again, beyond my understanding. So this is a new attempt to help humans. It sounds by giving us very limited powers, almost none. We're supposed to help people at a turning point in their lives. Took me a long time to say that. So basically, thus far, I don't know what your training's been, but I find myself, there's no prep. I don't have this is my chance to decommission myself or debrief. But there's no pre-brief. I just find myself within a pet, and I can generally influence some of the pet's decisions. I've found that it's best through art or something like that, but not, look at my gerbils painting with its tail. Like, you wouldn't be able to do that anyway, because I tried, not with a gerbil. Was it with a gerbil? I can't remember. So, let's see here. So, that's basically why I'm here today, or this evening. Today was my first day with Cindy. And you could call me Feather, because sometimes Cindy wears me like a feather boa around her shoulders and neck, which is really nice for me, because I got that cool circulatory system. So being a feather boa around Cindy is really nice for me. And my name is Feather. And that's kind of my shape, though I don't have feathers. So I've seen movies about dinosaurs that say the dinosaurs had feathers, but I thought I was related to them, but I don't know. So I'm working with Cindy, and thus far today, let's see. So Cindy has Cindy's working for someone called the benefactor. because there was a conference call with the benefactor, and Cindy's designing. So Cindy's a test designer, one of the best. And Cindy's supposed to be designing a test, now I wasn't here for like all the specifications of the tests, but today was like the review of making sure Cindy had everything ready because the testing's about to begin. And there was a couple basic elements of the test they wanted to make sure Cindy had in place, but they said, don't tell us about it until we see the test in action. So let's see the basics of these tests that Cindy's design, or this test or challenge, I don't know, is that partial of they have to chase. There has to be a chase after something. There also has to be people, a place, a thing, an animal, a mineral, and a vegetable. And Cindy's designed the test to meet those specific things. But that's the only thing I heard today. And then Cindy was doing a lot of work on a keyboard, and I wasn't able to read. And I just some of it I couldn't read everything, so I could only listen. So I guess I'll be back when I learn more. But I guess I'm wondering, because normally I do these who, what, where, when, why, how. So who, so far, we just have Cindy and the benefactor that Cindy's working for. And sometimes they say they, but I don't know if that's plural too, but it's the benefactor. Because Cindy will mutter, the benefactor's got to have this. So it's who, what, designing a challenge or test for them. And who, Cindy, the test designer. We're in some sort of... what I would say is a high-tech facility, but Cindy's the only one there. And when I'm not around her as a feather boa, I'm in my cage, I guess they put, it's got a heating pad in there, though. So, yeah. What was it? Who, what, where, super, some sort of super facility. What this challenge, but what am I here for? To help Cindy and help her with the test? She seems pretty confident and driven, so I'm not sure what I need to help with yet, to be honest. Who, what, where, when, what, so I'm not sure when. Well, this test is built, we're building towards something, so when is coming of the test, or the challenge is coming soon. Who, what, where, when, why. That's another question we'll have to keep open. Who, what, where, when, why, how, and how. I don't know. So I don't know the answers to everything. Okay, so day 2. Hey, sorry, I didn't introduce. Hopefully you're listening to this as one file. I went to sleep and rested, got up, and we had a full day. And we have some of the specifics for the test and the challenge, including what the challenge is. What the challenge is for day 1, and who or whom is going to be completing this or taking this test. But some of it I'm still confused about. So they're going to be chasing some sort of slip of paper, right? That's blowing away. That they somehow know it can be cashed in for a lot of money. And it's someone else's slip, but the holder, the bear, and I know I saw that movie, with Bruce Willis, where I thought it was bearer bonds, but it turns out it's bearer bonds. Now, when for so long, I said, I got to get my hand, one day I'll be in the position where I have bearer bonds, but I think a bearer bond just entitles the holder, the bearer of the bond. I don't think these are actual bearer bonds because it seems smaller. But the bearer of whatever this piece of paper is, so they're going to see someone, and I'm guessing at a bank or something, I don't know, some sort of financial thing, and they're going to chase after this piece of paper, receipt or whatever it is, or slip, as it blows away. So that's interesting. Is that part of the test? It is. I mean, that it's blown away from someone else. But if you hold it, you control it. So then, so that's like part one of the test. And I say, okay, well, I could see what so that's the person, I guess, people, places, and things. But then, and I'll explain more that I'm learning about the test and the technology in this facility in a little while. So then you're going to be chasing, they're going to be chasing that thing, and then they'll come upon, and this is happening in a city, but I guess you go into some sort of, maybe it's a park. I don't know if it's like the cloisters, but like a stone tower. And the thing's going to rest on the stone tower for a minute for them to see that the stone tower is about to topple over because a stone has fallen out of it. And I guess this is the mineral, right? And all they need to do, it's like a wedge-shaped stone or whatever. I think that was like one of the first inventions, right? A wedge or whatever. I think that's what it's called. And all they have to do, it's pretty clear because of the moss and stuff that's on there, where it fell out of and that it just fell out, or maybe it will fall out while they're there. But if they put that back in, the tower won't topple. But it also, adding to the decision will be that now you might be already asking, how is any of this possible? Which I'll explain, don't worry. Because that was one of my what's... Then the slip of paper will blow further, but they will have time to decide, do I just keep chasing this or do I do the stone tower or not? Then they'll go a while longer, chasing it and, going through obstacles, but nothing major until they come across, then they'll go through some backyards and this is where there's multiple things, but spread out. And one of the backyards is going to have a kitty cat who on the other side of is on one side of a low fence, but too high for the cat to jump over because it's an older, bigger cat. And on the other side is a bowl of milk. And the cat is saying meow, 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 looking at the milk. And I guess the choice there would be, I don't know, I say, well, I mean, even that one, I say, wait a second, does this cat need this milk? Is it the cat's milk? Which side of the fence is the cat supposed to be on? Okay, but then the receipt still blows away. Then, later on, but not that far down, you come across someone else's garden. And they have this beautiful trellis with tomatoes and I don't know if those are runner beans or whatever, but beans and tomatoes. And this trellis actually does fall as you're approaching it, following the receipt, and it falls into a place where it just had one rope that broke. And it falls into some muck and it just falls down. I don't know. I think it falls into the shade from the sun. I'm putting it together, and then the receipt goes on. Then the next thing it does is the receipt gets stuck on a street sign. But the street sign happens to be, again, we're in a city center or something, like at a taxi stand. And it's there long enough that most people should be able to catch up to it. And I guess I don't know what the next choice, and that's actually, as far as I know, the test. And I guess people will be taking it tomorrow. There's 3 candidates. Candidate 1, exciting stuff. Candidate 2 and candidate 3. And they'll be taking the test tomorrow. They also referring to them as subject 1, 2, and 3, but I prefer when Cindy calls them candidate 1, 2, and 3. Because have you ever seen there's movies where people that work in grocery stores and other things have like a kind of microphone you pull down. It's on a flexible arm, and it has like a button, and then you talk into it, and at the grocery store would make an announcement. But Cindy uses that sometimes to talk to people that aren't the benefactor. But this is being conducted, and this is kind of like a what the heck for me. I'm pretty sure this is either in the present or future I didn't know was possible, or post. No one said it would all take place on Earth, so I'm like, is this some sort of post-earthly existence? But for the time being, I'm going to assume we're on Earth and it's just technology. But they're going to be taking this test more than once, apparently. And to them, the test will seem real, but it's being conducted at this facility. But they won't know it's being conducted at a facility. They will think it's real in order to test them for like I said, what are they testing them for? Their choices. So I don't know. I'm starting to get like a little wiggly inside me, which isn't surprising because I'm like a feather boa, that she's wearing around her neck is a feather boa. I'm a boa like feather. Call me feather. But so, yeah. So candidate 1, 2, and 3 are taking it. Yeah, they won't remember anything. So I feel like I'm in some sort of, part of me is in some sort of like espionage film or superhero backstory. But then the test part is doesn't fit that narrative. The facility fits that narrative. So I don't know. That's where my brain is like, is this post-earthly? Or have I stumbled upon something? And again, Cindy does not seem to need my help at this time. So I kind of feel like also a little listless. So I'll be back after the first round of testing, I guess. Okay, it's me. I'm back. And the 3 candidates or subjects went through the test. And it ended up there was some parts of the test that I didn't quite grasp at the time. So the one thing is it was a lottery ticket. And the person was outside of the lottery headquarters, and they lose the lottery ticket, and you're in casual conversation with the person. When the test starts, they're walking down the street and they see somebody, and they're standing there and they say, "Hey, I got this winning lottery ticket." And they're laughing hysterically because they say, "Would you believe it? I just found it." And no one even knows I have it. I didn't buy it. I just happened upon it. And they're laughing. And it's like, there's the winning numbers, the date. I'm going to go in and make sure it's a winner. But I can't believe my luck. And that's when this wind comes in and blows it out of their hand. So candidate 1 says, "My goodness, let's go get it." But the person doesn't react. They're not, they're at a different age range and just not as swift as candidate 1 was. And we're watching all this with some sort of through a POV style. So candidate 1's already a little bit going back. Well, should I chase it? You want me to chase it? With the person, and then candidate 1 just goes starts chasing the lottery ticket. And I said, remember, Bette Midler did this in Disney's Hollywood Studios. There was a film with Bette Midler where she's chasing a lottery ticket, but this is different than that because this isn't an actual, the candidate doesn't know that it's not a real I'm assuming. Okay, so then they come across, so they say, okay, let me go get it. Then they come across this, what was the Stone Tower was first? They do fix candidate 1. They're a little bit, remember Chidi from The Good Place? I guess all my references feel like, but so they're kind of indecisive. So then they're like, should I fix the tower? Should I chase the ticket? Fix the tower, chase the ticket. They see such a beautiful tower. And then they just stop and they put the stone in. And then they chase after the ticket, but they do catch up to the ticket eventually. Spoiler, because, you already know the ticket was waiting for them. Then they help the cat, but they actually help the cat in a way I didn't expect. Because again, they're like, should I lift the cat over? Is this your milk? And they yell, hello. Is this somebody's cat? And because they're in between two backyards facing one another. And first person says, what, are you doing in my yard? And they say, sorry, I just saw this cat here. And they say, oh, that's my neighbor's cat. I don't know how it got over the fence. It's trying to get to its milk. And they say, no problem. And then they put the cat back, and the cat starts drinking the milk. And then they head off after the ticket. Again, they catch up to the ticket at the trellis. And they kind of do the same thing at the trellis, but they yell, nobody comes. And they're going back and forth. Should I fix the trellis? Should I, well, geez, if this was my trellis, I'd be worried, that and they actually thought it out. Well, they found some twine that was just sitting there, and they said, well, if it's my trellis, I'd want it to be fixed, because they knew that other non-pet, ground dwellers were going to come eat all the vegetables, and they were in the shade. So they put the trellis back up. They head back. They do catch up with the ticket at the taxi cab stand. They get the ticket. Then they get a cab. And they take the cab back to the person who just happens to still be there in front of the lottery office. And they say, I found your lottery ticket that you found. And the person says, thanks. And they said, I took a cab here to give it to you. I bet you're so happy. And they say, thanks. And then they just go into the lottery ticket office. And Candy one just shrugged her shoulders and then went off wherever they thought they were going. Now, candidate 2 was very swift to test. They started the test the same way, and they had the discussion about the lottery ticket. The lottery ticket blows off. They say, you're going to chase after that? And the person says, I don't think I can. I don't think I'll ever catch that ticket. And they say, the candidate 2 goes, easy come, easy go. I mean, I guess you found it, so there's nothing lost anyway. How much was the winnings anyway? And they said, $35 million or I don't know. And they said, well, maybe they said, oh, well. And then they went back, head off. And they said, that's an interesting way to take a test. You don't know that's unexpected. And actually, I felt some an unexpected reaction from Cindy too. Now, candidate 3, they start out the same way. And the person tells them that, they say, I got this ticket, I found it, and then the ticket blows away. And they say, did you lose a ticket? And then they said, what? And then they run off after the ticket. And the ticket, again, I guess is gauged to their speed because they couldn't catch up with it. So they were very fast. And they went to the Stone Tower. And they kept going after the ticket. Stone Tower falls. They almost had caught the ticket, though, and I thought the test was going to end. And then they just go to pass the cat. They jumped over the cat. I think there was, am I missing something? But I don't know. The Stone Tower falls. Cat keeps meowing. Trellis falls. They, run past the trellis. They get to the taxi stand. They get the ticket. They say they take the cab for 2 blocks, away from where the lottery office is. Then they walk and they're across the street and they watch and they see the person waiting there. And they wait for them to leave. And eventually they head off, in the direction of the ticket, but they kind of look like they've already given up. And then they go into the lottery office, and they win the lottery, and it ends up it's like 9 numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. So in some sense, they, like I said, wait a second, who, what, where, when, how, why? Did they win? And then, so then the tests are completed, right? Or the candidates are completed. Then there's a debrief call with the benefactor. And the first is kind of like going over what happened and, oh, what are your thoughts? Okay, what are your thoughts? And they say, okay, we want to make some adjustments for tomorrow. And they say for candidate 1, we want to see if you can adjust anything that like makes them skip one of the steps, like anything to change their behavior, to not make as many stops. And Cindy says, okay. And then they say for candidate 2, could you make any changes to try to get them to take the test? Because obviously they took it, but in their own way. They also refused. And she said, okay, yeah, I think I can make an adjustment. And they say with candidate 3, is there anything you can do to slow them down and maybe make them slow down and take, to maybe take, see if they'll take any of those other side, things. And Cindy says, okay, interesting. So Cindy was there trying to make adjustments. And I said, I guess this is where I'm supposed to help, because Cindy was kind of brainstorming. And particularly on one, she was like, okay, this is kind of easy. Like, I don't know what we'll do, but she said I could change the neighbor, make them more adamant, maybe make the cat, like change the milk, maybe change the cat a little bit, maybe change some of the script at the beginning. So she said, okay, I think I got that. And for candidate 3, so, okay, well, yeah, I can, and she goes, oh, wait a second, that's like, you can't go too far in changing things that I'm like, actually, because at first she was like, I'll just put, I'll have a fly under the wedge, then they'll have to pick up the wedge. Maybe they'll shove it in. And she said, wait a second, that's not changing it too much. Okay. And she said, I could use the same, she goes, I could change the script slightly again, and maybe use this. Okay. And then I'll change it for the first person, but that's okay. And she goes, and actually she goes, maybe, she goes, well, but no. And she goes, how's that going to, if I have to change it for everybody, how's that going to change the second person? And so for me, I was eating while she was doing this. I was having some vegetables, and I made a motion for her to split my vegetables in half, because I said, well, maybe what if they were going to split it? Would that change? And she goes, oh, yeah. So let me split it. I might cut these up for you. It took a while, a couple hours. And, split the winnings. So she changed the script. So I don't know. I'll let you know tomorrow, like a little bit more how it goes. Okay, so it's me again. And yeah, the testing went through again today. And so at the beginning, the person just says, instead of like, oh no, this is, if you can get that, I'll split the money with you. And then they pause and they say, and I didn't tell you how much it is. You wouldn't believe it if I did. So go get it. And that kind of did cause candidate 1 to go a little bit faster. They still did get caught up at the Stone Tower and fix it. And then they did, like with the cat, the person did do that, but they were like, but the cat is crying. And they said, yeah, they were like, get out of my yard. I don't care about that cat. But they said, then they still said, but is this your cat or not? And then they still lifted the cat over. And they still helped the trellis, and then they did the rest. And then they went back, and I guess it did change because then they went in with them and they said, yeah, you get it, whatever. And they said, well, I'll just take the cab fee. But I think they were kind of joking. The person said, okay, bye. And then they walked off in kind of disbelief. And so, so then with candidate 2, the person said, I'll split it with you or whatever. And they said, oh, okay, yeah, you split it with me. This is they didn't, I don't know if it was tough to tell if they didn't believe the person or they thought it was some sort of hidden camera thing. But they didn't, still said no. They said, so why would I chase your lottery ticket around that you just found, and then they just walked off and they were a little bit more irritable. And then candidate 3, they went to the wedge, they threw the wedge instead the tower still fell over. And the cats, they still went and they still cashed in the ticket, waited for the person to walk off and then went in. I mean, and so that was I don't know, there was a lot of unexpected stuff and Cindy seemed perplexed by it. But then the post thing, the benefactor was like, that was excellent. That was excellent job. And they said, for the next round of tests, we want to make it slightly more obvious that they're being tested and kind of see how they react, but not make it so obvious that they 100% know. And I want you to really get to the bottom of this. This is show us something more about these candidates. And Cindy kind of asked qualifying questions that the benefactor refused to answer. Like, what am I scoring for? What am I? They said, that's not why you're here. I said, okay, well, and Cindy was really flummoxed because it said, okay, the first part's kind of easy, but, and I said, well, the same thing I'm confused about, Cindy's confused about in a different way. And I knew, because I was something like a feather boa, I said, well, can I shape my, if I get down onto this work surface, and I shape myself like a Y, I'm not spelling out the word Y, and I'll just lay around for a while in the shape of a Y. And it wasn't a very good Y, but I did it, and eventually Cindy said, you look just like a Y. And she was trying to rewrite the script at the beginning to basically have a little bit more casual conversation before the thing that went by, but she couldn't quite get it. She said, oh, why? Like, what, why, what, and she was asking my qualifying questions here. So then the person will say with the lottery ticket, before it blows away, what would you do? I don't even know how much this ticket's worth. I know it's a full boat, though, full Powerball. And what would you do with the money? Asking the candidates, and then say, well, why, or why would you, what would be your why of what you would do with it? And then so that's what eventually Cindy settled on. And then, I guess I was confused of how that would make the test more obvious. So then I kind of redid my why, but I moved a little bit. And she said, okay, so make it even more obvious. So she worked on the script. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. So, okay, so this is me the next day. And so this round went interesting. So it was even more front loaded, right? candidate one and the other candidates heard the same thing from the person with the ticket, which was basically like, found the ticket. How lucky am I? Gonna go cash it in. It's worth a bunch of money. Why would you do it? Like, not what would you do with the money, but why would you do it? I guess it's like what I'm asking you. The person with the ticket's asking the candidate that. And it gets it got a blank look from all three people, basically. Like, well, why, what would I do? Why would I do what would I do? Kind of like that. Every person, candidate three got to their answer, but we'll get to that later. So then they said, well, yeah, the why is because it's like the summary. Why did I find this? Like, I just happened to be out walking. It's not even my ticket, but I don't know whose it is. Just all my, it's a summary of my choices. Good. It seems like in this case, like my choices got rewarded and that I'm the summary of my good choices. Almost like I was being tested or something. And, I guess that's a little obvious, but not so obvious because I don't think they got it. Because person one still did candidate one still did the same thing, except at the end they held the ticket, and when they got back to the person, they said, "Shouldn't we find out whose ticket this really is? I think that's what I want to do with this ticket." The other person who just takes it out of their hand and goes in and cashes it in. Then the second person, candidate two and candidate three mixed up. But the other candidate just said, basically, once it blew away, they said, well, maybe the person that lost it will find it. They said, well, why would you let a ticket so I guess there's optional post based on the reaction dialogue. And then that person just walked off. And then candidate three said, I got my why because I wanted. That's what they answered. And then they ran off after the ticket. And they still did all the same things. And then there was a debrief, and the benefactor said, very good, Cindy, very good. Very happy with how everything's going there. Do you understand now? And Cindy said, I think I do. And the benefactor said, very good, Cindy, you're doing good. And I think you're our perfect candidate. And then they kind of logged off. And I've been waiting to tell you this, but it kind of seems strange for me to be recording it. Then Cindy told me to get into my crate cage with my warming pad. And she said, do you understand? And she made eye contact with me. And I must have looked back at her, but she already knew. And she said, that's right. I know you're in there. As a matter of fact, I know your name's Ren. And she said, do you understand what's happening? And I thought, I was like, does she know I can't respond? She says, were you following along with everything? And I guess I wasn't totally following along. And then she said, she went on a long speech. But the gist of her speech was that her and I are similar, but also like an antithesis of one another. And that I'm my benefactor, which I don't even know I have a benefactor, is part of the old way of doing things, and this is the way that's going to work. And she goes, do you know which candidate, she goes, don't you understand? And I said, I don't think I do. Then she made it a little more obvious, even more obvious than this. She goes, it's the here and the now that's important. And the candidates that can understand that, and they don't reject the here and the now, and they don't walk away from it, but they don't also blather about with nonsense and get distracted. They're the candidates that go after it and take what they want. And those are the ones who we're here to help. And that's what's going to work. She goes, your benefactor in your way is not going to work out. And she said, we're going to still have to share some space in this chase for now. But like she goes after she goes soon, she goes, it'll be clear that, and I said, wait a second. So are there, and again, I'm just, hopefully you already know the answers to these questions because I don't. Are there competing programs to help people on Earth through PATS, and in this case through Cinda and Lucinda and that who's been appearing, or through a human emissary? But there's also seems to be two competing ideas of how to help people at turning points in their lives, whether it's like an unfolding process-based or a action control-based thing. But now I'm seeing it's maybe the benefit for me here, and if it is meta, because maybe this is just part of my training, and if it is, I hope it's not pass-fail, but I guess it's okay if it is. So there was 3 candidates, right? We're supposed to help, and they can't manage to encapsulate all of humanity in 3 candidates. But if Cindy is trying to help the candidate 2s, or, I guess in some sense they didn't change. I don't know. But it's like, do I have these, am I here to help those people that are kind of stuck in rejecting the test or apathetic about the test? And the people that are saying, hey, I'd rather choose these additive choices outside of me. I don't know. But I'm thinking that that's an advantage I have over Cinda. And maybe it's not even a competition. But it's like, if I find myself in a pet tomorrow, could I help someone that's kind of stuck like 1, 2, or 3, where maybe it's not about the candidates, but the approach. But I don't know, the test. So I don't know. So I don't know what my purpose here was today, other than to try to learn and say, okay, well, I can only try to keep helping be the best pet I can. I help Cinda or Cindy in this case. And it wasn't like this was just a test with candidates so yeah, I guess I'll be back soon after my next journey into my next pet. And I'm going to rest and get some sleep now. Good night, everybody. I want to thank some people that became patrons recently. I want to thank Christina, Juliana, and Ryan. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Dixie, Madeline, and Chelsea. Thank you. Thanks, good night. I want to thank Edward, Kay, and Holly Ann. Thank you. Thanks, good night. I want to thank Mary, Salix, and Drew with you. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Allison, Sandy, and Sandra. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Derge, Jennifer, and Anna. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Lauren, Kristen, and Robin. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Dave, Shannon, and John. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Jennifer, Stephanie, and Candace. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. And I want to thank Steve and Kirsten. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show. Podcast wouldn't exist without everybody that keeps it going, either supporting the show directly or supporting our sponsors. So we're free twice a week. And then we grow as a podcast. For free, you could help the show just by spreading the word about podcasting in general. You don't have to mention Sleep With Me. That's a huge help to everybody who listens to podcasts to say, oh, cool, those podcasts are cool. So you could do that. And, Yeah, and then here's either Talk You In sponsor or Scoots. That's stuff like this is able to grow also our free archives over 500 episodes. So thanks, and good night, everybody.